Hi everyone, my name is Mary and welcome back to Quinn Inc. Today in this video we are going to connect our front section to our back section and our sleeves to the cardigan. Now before we get started, I would like to thank everyone. I ended up getting 100 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel, and thank you for everyone who has viewed the channel. I really appreciate it, and a big thank you to everyone. I guess you guys like my channel and I really appreciate it. I try to do my best at every video. Okay, so let's get started. So in order to start, what you're going to do is you're going to need to get tape measure. And this is really important because you're going to want to measure the bigger portion of your sleeve. Okay, so I have the sleeve right here. This is the bigger portion right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure your sleeve is folded in half. You're going to take your tape measure and you're going to measure from the top of the sleeve to the bottom of the sleeve right there. Okay, and I'm going to put my finger right here. So it looks like my sleeve was 8 inches. Okay, then you're going to grab your sleeve and pull it off to the side. And then I also have the cardigan right here. Okay, so here is the cardigan. So this is the front piece and then this is the back piece. And yes, I already have stitch markers on my cardigan because that is where I had measured it. So what you'll do is pretty much you will fold. So you'll take your cardigan and fold it like this. Okay, line up your triangle. So if this is your purple triangle, line it up with the purple triangle on the bottom. Line this up with the blue triangle on the top. So everything is nice and lined up. Once you have everything lined up, you will go to the top here where these 2 stitches are. So I'll zoom in real quick. Where these 2 stitches are. So this is 1 stitch and then that is a 2nd stitch. And when they fold like this, then you will put your measuring tape right here. Okay, and then you will measure it. And I'll pull my camera out in just 1 second. And then you will measure it all the way down to that, here we'll move this out of the way, to that stitch. And as you can see, that stitch was right on the money. Okay, so from there to there, and you will measure it to a stitch. Then once you get that stitch, you will put a stitch marker right there in that stitch. And then what I normally do is I go all the way back through and I count it. For me, it was 20 stitches from this stitch. And then the next one over this stitch right here. So as you can see, the 2 stitches from this stitch all the way down to that stitch marker was 20 stitches. Then the next stitch over, which is this one where my finger is, all the way around to the next stitch marker was 20 stitches. And what I would suggest doing is actually counting your stitches. Maybe you might have 9 inches, maybe 10 inches, but you want to count and make sure your stitches are going to line up with each other. So that one was 20 and then this one was 20. Okay, and so what we're going to do is I'm going to grab my crochet hook and we're going to connect this front piece to the back piece. And again, we are going to use the granny stripe pattern, and I used 2 rows. Now if you don't like the 2 rows, you can always extend it to 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows, however many rows you would like for your side and how wide you would like it. Okay, so there is no, oh, it has to be 2 rows. No. You can actually make it as many rows as you need. If you just want 1 row, that's fine. You want 2 rows, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 rows, however many rows you feel you need for your cardigan, I would suggest using that. I am using 2 rows. I feel that is wide enough for my cardigan. So let's grab our 5.75 millimeter crochet hook and our dark blue yarn, and let's get started crocheting the side of this and then crocheting next part, our sleeve. I will be back shortly. Okay, so now that I'm back, you want to start with the slip knot. So wrap your yarn around your fingers like this and make a loop. Pull the loop out. You can put your crochet hook into that loop and grab your yarn. So that way you make another loop and then just pull like this. Okay, then pull the 2 strings until it's tight enough that you would like it. Now before we start, you are going to want to line up your triangles. Once your triangles are nice and lined up, okay, so let me line these up nice and perfectly. What you are going to want to do is, let me see on this side. So on this side I made it to the top of the triangle because the triangles were the other way around. So for this one I'm going to make them for the bottom of the triangle because you want this beautiful flap or wave stitch or wave that I have created. It'll be really pretty, so make sure you are at the bottom here. Okay, hold the camera down a little bit more and we'll zoom in. So we're at the bottom of the triangle. Just find that bottom stitch, which I feel is right here, and then we'll grab the other bottom piece and then find the bottom piece. Now this one has 2 stitches. You can go into either one. I'm going to go into the one on the far right. Now depending how you would like your stitch to be, what you're going to do is decide if you want to start crocheting on this side. So I pretty much have the cardigan facing me of the side, or you can flip, excuse me, or what you can do is flip the cardigan over to the other side and then have your stitches that way. For me, it doesn't really matter, so I am just going to crochet this way, which is very strange because I normally crochet that way. Okay, so we are going to have to flip the cardigan. So we're going to flip the cardigan over, and now the back of the cardigan is up and the top of the front of the cardigan is down. So we'll do this way, so that way I can crochet this way. Okay, so here we go again. So bottom of the triangle, I'm going into the right stitch, putting my yarn onto my hook and pulling through, moving my yarn tail out of the way, and then I'm going to yarn over, grab my stitch like this and pull tight, and then there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to find the bottom of my triangle, which should be right here, and I'm going to, whoops, sorry, I'm actually going to chain 2 is what I'm going to do. I apologize. So we're going to chain 2 for that double crochet like we always do, and then we find the bottom of the triangle and put our hook right into there, just like this. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through, and then there's the starting of your, oh wait, we are not going to do that because we're going to do a row first, so we're going to pull that away. So instead what we're going to do, I apologize, is we're going to just put a double crochet right into here. So yarn over, go into your stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through 2, grab your working yarn and pull through 2, and that makes a double crochet. I'm not going to chain 1 or anything, I'm just going to double crochet 3 back into this stitch. It will still make a space for you, so when you come back to do your second row, so just like that, there is a space right here. If you don't like that, you can chain 1. So I apologize for that. So then what we're going to do for the granny stripe pattern is, like always, we're going to skip 2, and into the 3rd stitch we're going to make a double crochet. And I apologize for my light. I need to get a new one because it keeps making these shadows, as you can see. So I'm wondering if I move it this way, will it still make a shadow? Or that way. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. Okay, so 3 double crochets into that 3rd stitch. And as always, don't chain when you are going into that 3rd stitch. We are just going straight over. So again, skip 2 stitches and into the 3rd, make 3 double crochets, do not chain.
2 and 3.
Okay, and so this is how your stitches are going to look all the way down. So I'm going to meet you down here where my stitch marker is, because that's where we are going to finish off the row and start row 2. So I'll be back shortly. Alright, I am back, and I made it to the end right here where the stitch marker is, and I got it just perfectly. So 2 stitches left, and then we're going to double crochet into the 3rd stitch, 3 double crochets right into that stitch. Make sure not to split your stitch like I did. Oh, 1 more double crochet into that stitch. I apologize if you hear snoring in the video. My husband's taking a nap again. Alright, so now that we did the 3 double crochets, we're now going to put 1 more double crochet right into this stitch. We're not going to chain 1 or anything. And then there we go. Okay, and now what you're going to do, now I apologize, but I completely forgot. I'm actually going to do 3 rows of this granny stripe instead of 2 rows. So now for row number 2, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. So give me 1 second. Alright, there we go. And turn your work. There we go. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet into that first double crochet. Okay, and we're going to skip this space right here, and we're going to double crochet right into this space, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. 3 double crochets, and then you're just going to skip your 3 double crochets, and into that next space right there you're going to put 3 more double crochets. 3, and there we go. And we're just going to do this pattern all the way down the line, going into every single space with 3 double crochets. And when I get back, I will meet you right here, and I'll tell you what to do at this end. Then we'll do 1 more row like this, and then the last row, which will be row number 3, we will connect the front piece to the back piece. Okay, so I will be back shortly. Alrighty, I am back, and I know I said I would make it right here, and I did. So just put 3 double crochets right into this stitch, 2 and 3. I just pull out some yarn. Alright, when you have made your 3 double crochets, you are now going to open up this space right here that we originally made, and you're going to put 3 double crochets right into there. 1, 2, and 3. That's right. We are skipping over the 3 double crochets from the previous round and putting 3 double crochets right into the space. And then 1 more time, we are going to yarn over, go into this last double crochet right here, and put a double crochet right into that spacing, just like that. Now, because we are on round number 3, you are now going to grab your cardigan. So if you give me 1 second, we're going to pull this out, And I'm going to pull my camera out so you can see this. Okay, so this is what we have done. You're going to place that down real quick, just like that. And you're going to grab your cardigan right here. Now make sure that when you grab your cardigan, everything is in place. So we need to move everything and make sure it's facing the correct way. I apologize if you can't see anything at the moment, but here, let me pull my camera up. So what I'm doing is I'm folding everything to the correct length. Looks like my yarn ball got in there. Okay, so when you do this, depending on which way you ended, make sure you have this side where your back is facing up. Mine is facing up. Now the cardigan is up facing, so the front is facing up and the back is facing down. We're just going to go down the line like this. And because we turned our work like this, now our work is now going to be facing us like this. Okay, so pull up your back. I'm going to move my cardigan. There's so much of it. Okay, so when you start this next section, so this will be your third row. So if you need to make 4 rows, you'll go back and forth again, making these rows and adding these pieces. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to look at your triangle like this. This is the top of your triangle, and this is the bottom of your triangle. If you need to, you can put a stitch marker in these stitches to let you know. So what we're going to do is put our hook back onto our yarn and pull that back again. Okay, and now that you found your middle portion right here, you're going to find the middle stitch. Now you can go into this stitch or you can go into this stitch. I'm going to go into the right stitch and I'm going to make a slip stitch going under, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to turn my cardigan. Give me 1 second. Alright, there we go. So you are going to turn your cardigan after you make your slip stitch. And you're going to hear my husband snoring pretty loud because I'm talking. He likes to hear my voice. I'll move my camera down. Okay. So you've made that slip stitch, you flipped your cardigan. Now what you're going to do is, nope. Okay. So you'll pull that out actually. I apologize for this, I keep forgetting. And now we're going to chain 2. 1, yarn over and pull through. So when you chain, remember that you will pull up some slack a little bit like this. Yarn over and pull through, pull up some slack, yarn over and pull through. That'll give your chains a little more room and it won't be so tight. And then you will slip stitch into that stitch where the middle of your triangle is on the bottom. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through. I apologize for that. And then we're going to go back into this spacing right here for 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and that is what it should look like. And then what you're going to do is you're going to skip 2 stitches, and into the third you'll do a slip stitch. You'll pull up the granny stitch, find that spacing right here between the 3 double crochets, yarn over and put 3 double crochets right into that spacing. 2, I apologize if it's difficult to see, and 3. I will pull it out in just a moment. There we go. And then there's the 3 double crochets. Pull your 3 double crochets you just made, look for your stitches. Remember this stitch in the back where my finger is, that is where you already slip stitch. You'll skip that stitch, this stitch, this stitch, and into the third stitch will be a slip stitch. And I don't count the one that I slip stitched into as a stitch because I already slip stitched into it. Now into this spacing down here between the double crochets, you'll put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And last but not least, skip 2 stitches into the 3rd, slip stitch. Now I will meet you down. Do this all the way across your cardigan. So pause the video, go all the way across the cardigan, and I will meet you right here where this stitch marker is and this very last stitch, because this is where we want to end, is right where this stitch marker is. That's why we have it here. Now remember, if we are 1 stitch before, then we will just skip the 1 stitch instead of 2 stitches. Okay, I will be back shortly. Okay, so we are coming up to the end, and I just slip stitched on the top right here. Now I have 1 stitch before my stitch marker, so we will just skip over that 1 stitch. But first I need to double crochet 3 times into this space before we do that. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so there we go, just slip stitched into there. Excuse me, just double crocheted into that space. Now we're going to go back to the stitch marker and I'm going to slip stitch into it. Okay, and then we have our last stitch right here. We're going to put 3 double crochets right into here. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we're going to go back into that stitch right here for another slip stitch, and then the last thing we're going to do, move the stitch marker out of the way, is double crochet into the top of this stitch right here. Okay, sometimes it can be a little difficult to find that stitch, but a lot of times you just have to pull it apart. And then instead of slip stitching here, we're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay? And then you're going to grab your scissors and you're just going to cut your yarn. And then you'll just yarn over and pull through and then pull right through and tighten. Okay, and then that is how you will do the granny stripe for the side of your cardigan. So that will be connecting the back, and that will also be connecting the front. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to connect our sleeve. So I'm going to grab our sleeve, or I'm going to grab my sleeve, and we're going to connect it right here where this big massive spacing or hole is. I will be back in just a few moments. Alrighty, so I am back, and I know that I said that I would grab my sleeve and we would connect it right here, but I'm actually going to end the video right here, and in the next portion we will connect the sleeve. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to scroll down and hit that like button so I know that you're enjoying this video, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And also, again, I would like to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel and who has viewed my channel and who has supported me through all of this. A big thank you. I am so sorry I do not thank you enough, but I thank every single one of you, and I appreciate every single one of you that has subscribed and viewed the channel. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye-bye.